I deeply apologize for taking a long hiatus after announcing that I would work hard. Moving forward, I'll give it my all. Eiichiro Oda. To our beloved readers, thank you for always reading One Piece. Because of the author's poor physical health condition, One Piece will take a break in this week's issue. We deeply apologize to all the readers who are looking forward to it. Although One Piece is listed in this issue, postcard, and table of contents, due to printing schedules, we were unable to make the correction in time. Once again, we deeply apologize. The series is scheduled to resume in the next issue, New Year's issue, on sale December 2nd. Thank you for your continued support of One Piece, Shonen Jump's editorial department. Now, those are two statements from Eiichiro Oda and, of course, Shonen Jump after he took that break because of health issues. Though the official One Piece account did confirm that Eiichiro Oda's health is improving, which is a great sign, honestly. Now, for those that don't know, Oda has had some health issues revolving around him only sleeping 3 to 4 hours a day. Of course, diabetes, and he also has gout. So just health-wise, Eiichiro Oda is definitely deteriorating by making this amazing series One Piece. He's been doing it since 1997, yo. He's been doing this series since the 90s. We're in the 2020s, yo. That's insane. Now, of course, in the recent installment, Oda definitely has showed some good signs, like that new One Piece art of Kuma, Bonnie, and Ginny together. Oda drew that, and I was like, okay, this is a good sign. Oda drawing this good of art is a good sign. Then we also learned that next month's tribute volume cover for Dragon Ball will be drawn by Eiichiro Oda. So Oda is definitely seems to be in good health from these news. We even seen a bunch of photos of Eiichiro Oda at season 2 filming for the live action in South Africa. Now, take this with a grain of salt, because this is before he had the health issues. And you can connect his health issues to actually his time in South Africa, if I'm being completely honest. I went to South Africa. Cape Town is where the Netflix live action show is being filmed. I got to see firsthand the hard work of so many crew members across the various fields. The sets, huge. The attention to detail, insane. The crew's love for the project, off the charts. And the food, amazing. Now I feel an even greater sense of responsibility given my role. I also managed to speak with not only the returning cast from season 1, but also each of the new cast members. My own casting selections were made from Japan over photos and videos, but seeing them all in person convinced me. They were absolutely the perfect choice. The vibe on the set was just the best too. Trust me, this is going to surpass season 1. Stay tuned for season 2. Eiichiro Oda. This is his message after actually going to South Africa. And I believe him because, first of all, season 1 I enjoyed. It wasn't like a spectacular, but I enjoyed it. But we all know that the East Blue is good, but everyone knows that Alabasta Saga definitely is where One Piece takes it to another level. So we're definitely going to expect some greatness in this saga. And then, of course, after that, you know, there's Skypiea and East Lobby Water 7. The live action has a lot of content to work on, if I'm being completely honest. And Eiichiro Oda's message was a good sign. I don't think he's bullshitting us. Now, after One Piece chapter 1132, there's actually going to be no break. So that's a good sign as well. And we learned that, of course, there was 32 chapters this year and 16 breaks, which it seemingly it wasn't as much as I expected. It felt like much more breaks, honestly. 16 breaks is still crazy, but for Oda, that's a good thing. If anything, I'd rather him take more breaks if his health continues to decline. And that's why today's video, yes, there's a reason why I showed all those quotes and from Eiichiro Oda and those statements from Shonen Jump. Today, we're going to actually look at Eiichiro Oda's health and the One Piece story. I'm going to give my thoughts. I've never actually given my thoughts on the author. I've only talked about his series for so many years, but I think it's time the LegendMac actually give his thoughts on the author, and I'm going to keep it real. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, Wano was one of the biggest, I think it's actually the biggest arc in the series. Don't quote me on that, but like, I felt like Dressrosa. When Eiichiro Oda made Dressrosa, that was 100 chapters. I'm like, yo, this arc is extremely long. I don't know how Oda's going to continue making arcs like this. And then Oda just goes and brings Wano, which is around 100 chapters. I think Hoki Island was around 80 chapters, so I think it was under Dressrosa. But Wano was like, I think around like 140 chapters around there, give or take. So it definitely was straining on Oda. Like, people look at those long arcs and think, okay, Oda is still healthy. No. it's not about Oda's health, and it's Oda's health after the fact. And that's where I was, of course, alarmed. Like, okay, the fact that he made Wano this good, was looking forward to Wano for so long, so I already knew he's gonna put his all blood and sweat tears in it. And there's still people complaining about like Kaido's flashback and whatnot, like why did Big Mom and Hook Island get a thorough flashback while Kaido didn't get a thorough flashback on Wano. I think honestly, personally, Kaido is revolved around Rock's D's of X, so I think Oda really wants to save it for that flashback, where like it's kind of like Kozuki Oda's flashback where we had Whitebeard pirates and the Roger pirates in the young days. So definitely got to say that just keep in mind how the story is in the grand scheme of things and why Oda does his things. But I think Wano definitely was draining for his health, and we can definitely see with Egghead Island. Yes, Egghead Island was the first final saga arc. He actually took a month of break after Wano to get ready for Egghead Island, and it was fast paced. It was probably one of the more fast paced arcs I've ever seen in One Piece. Like, if I give you guys a quick little recap, we go straight into Blackbeard and Law. And then we go into, of course, Eustace Kid versus Shanks. And then we go into Garp versus Aokiji, Sabo versus Imu in the Gorosei. And then, of course, you have to understand that we go into the high-paced arc of Egghead Island in and of itself. Yes, I'm talking about Egghead Island when it comes to, we see Luffy versus Lucci. We see Zoro versus Kaku. We see, of course, Saturn and Kizaru pulling up. We see Luffy versus Kizaru. We see Luffy versus Saturn. Like, we see all the Gorosei there. We see Joy Boy's hockey from the Void Century. Vegapunk's message exposing things. Like, all I can tell you guys, Zoro versus Lucci. Like, this arc was extremely fast paced, guys, and it's no understatement. This is a huge arc. Seeing the world building reactions of Vegapunk's message being documented around the world. I'm telling you guys right now, Egghead Island is probably one of the most fastest paced arcs, if not the fastest paced arc I've ever witnessed. And I think it was around like 70 to 60 chapters. So I'm telling you guys right now, what an arc. It's kind of like a pseudo regular arc in a sense. It was in between like a Dressrosa type arc. Dressrosa was like 100, Zoe was like 20, so this is I think this is around 60. It's in between that, but still, Egghead Island was extremely fast paced, and it definitely made me raise eyebrows. Why is Oda going this fast paced? Is he really trying to end One Piece this quick? Like, seeing all the Gorosei in front of Gear 5th Luffy, that's something I think I would saw at the last 20 chapters of One Piece, and we're getting it in Egghead Island. Now, if I'm being completely honest, Elbaf looks to be in between Wano and Egghead Island. I think it's going to be one of those longer arcs, but not like 140 chapters like Wano was. But I definitely think it's going to be fast-paced as well. So it could be around 80 to 90 chapters. It's an arc that Oda's been trying to do, but expect it to be in between Wano and Egghead Island. And if it's leaning towards Egghead Island more so, that's definitely not a good sign. It might be Oda's rushing his story, and there's definitely patterns that I'm going to talk about later in this video about authors rushing their story. After Elbaf Island, I might be thinking too deep into the future, but I think the next arc should be an Egghead Island. I mean, after Elbaf, it should be like an Egghead Island like arc with Luffy versus Blackbeard happening, the ramifications, the after effects of Shanks versus Blackbeard, of course, Laughdale being a whole situation there, plus Dragon versus the Holy Knights and Imu, Gorosei, Akainu, Sabo. Like, there's so many things Oda can do with this. Flashbacks as well. I think after Elbaf is when we really see, you thought Egghead Island was fast paced. That's when we're really going to see Oda take it to the next level of fast pacedness. Things are going to be revealed. Secrets going to be revealed. Mysteries going to be revealed. And I think Oda's health is the reason why Oda's doing this. I think he would have took his time more so if his health was good. But it keeps getting worse and worse. And I think we're actually going to get fast paced, and we're getting more reveals and like SBSs and interviews. Like, that's not normal of Oda. Oda usually is coy in those questions. So that's a sign of him actually rushing the story a little bit. But like I said, Oda also is revealing too many things in SBS's, like Kid's entire flashback. That was crazy. And Viva cards and interviews from Kaido's flashback having one chapter, to Kid in the SBS, to Fujitora and Greenbow's origin as well. Like, who would have thought that we'd see that in, of course, SBS's. Oda even explained Kizaru giving food to Luffy. The fact that he couldn't show that in the actual story, we just made his guess. I'm telling you guys now, Oda is skipping through some details to make this story finish in time, and where he can actually relax. And I don't blame him. Yo, Oda's been doing this for over 20 years, guys. Like, he deserves, like, I'll be honest with you, rushing One Piece is not as bad as you think, because One Piece pace was never like the crazy. It was pretty slow pace when compared to other series. So One Piece rushed is not that bad. And we saw with Egghead Island, I didn't feel like I was missing much. If anything, it was fast paced, and I kind of enjoyed it, guys. It was like, it was craziness every week. Now, of course, I'm not getting the same bang for buck when I see crazy moments. Like when I saw Kaido in 795 being introduced, or when I saw 144 of Gear 5th Luffy, like those moments are always going to be internal. Like even the first rooftop was crazy. I think we're going to get less of that because of how many crazy fast-paced moments we're going to get. But still, I'm not going to say I'm critiquing what Oda's doing right now. And then we look at other mangakas, and I think the first one you got to look at is Kubo. If you guys know, Bleach was a part of the big three. Yes, Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece that were under Dragon Ball. And Bleach ending was rushed, and not in the sense of like the final war arc, like it wasn't rushed in that sense, but the ending, the actual ending was rushed, and I did not enjoy that it was rushed in that sense. I don't think Ichiro Oda do what Kubo did, guys. I think Kubo definitely didn't have the sway that Ichiro Oda does have at Shueisha, Shonen Jump. I think Oda definitely has way more power than to do that, so don't be looking like it's going to be like a Kubo situation. I also don't think it's going to be a Kishimoto situation, though it could be more similar to Kishimoto's. Kishimoto had a final Fourth Ninja War, final war, where I'll be honest with you guys, it definitely felt like he was rushing it. Like the concepts that looked like should have been separate arcs definitely looked like he just jam-packed it in the final war. And even though the ending was better than Bleach when it comes to being thorough and more like fleshed out, I still think it was rushed. I think Oda's not going to go at this level of Kishimoto, but it's going to be a little more similar to Kishimoto than Kubo if I had to pick, because the fast pace is the only reason why I'm not that mad is because One Piece is not that fast paced in general. So adding a little pace to it is not a bad thing. For hardcore fans like me, yeah, it's a little bit like, oh, man, I wish we got to see this in the manga. We're finding things out in different ways, but I'm telling you right now, it might not be as bad as we think. And then there's Togashi. This is the author of Hunter x Hunter and Yu Yu Hakusho, and this is what we want Oda not to go through. Togashi literally is taking 10 chapters after like 3-4 years, and I'll be honest with you, Hunter x Hunter looks like it's never gonna finish because we haven't even reached the Dark Continent, and we're in 2024, guys, and we started going to the Dark Continent years ago, like 10 years ago, guys. I definitely believe you don't want Oda to go the Togashi route where he's just taking breaks in 10 chapters every 2-4 years. No, we don't want that to happen. So this is why we want Oda to fast pace it a little bit. Because Togashi, if I'm being honest, he didn't fast pace Hunter x Hunter. He's still taking his time with Hunter x Hunter. That's the funny part. Like, we know it's not going to end, but he's still taking his time. So the work is still good. We're still getting entertained with these chapters. But yeah, I think Oda's not, I don't want Oda to go Togashi route. Even though the work is still good, it's never going to finish, guys. And then there's, of course, the man who inspired all these guys. Well, not Togashi, but inspired maybe Togashi a little bit, but I feel like more so Kubo, Kishimoto, and Oda. And that's Toriyama. Like, he passed away recently. Rest in peace to Toriyama. He was a GOAT when it comes to, of course, making Dragon Ball, a series that we all love and adore. But I'm going to be honest with you, that's a man who did what he wanted to do and didn't really rush it. He got what he wanted, and even helped out with extra content when it comes to Super, GT, and all that in the movies. Honestly, I want Oda to go this route where he's able to do extra content for One Piece. Like, he's after One Piece is finished, I want Oda to drop movies on One Piece that are canon, and like that will have us as fans still hyped even though One Piece was found. And Oda's kind of doing that with all these kids he's introducing in the story, and like new generation of Momonosuke and all these guys, Shanks' son. Like, we're gonna get a new gen One Piece, in my opinion. You heard it here first on LegendMac's channel. And then I can just look at these new age mangas like Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer. I'm not really a big fan of them. I'm more of a long running guy myself, but I have to admit, they're doing something that these other dudes weren't doing, and they're ending their mangas way faster, and the fans are loving the animes. Yo, they're loving Jujutsu Kaisen, they're loving Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia, Black Clover, and they're ending their series earlier. And I'll tell you guys right now, they must know something that we don't about these dudes' health. Like, they must be looking at Oda, Kishimoto, Togashi, and seeing, because we're just hearing about their health. Imagine seeing their health day in and day out. You're probably thinking, wow, these guys are long running, and this is what's going to happen to me when I make my series long running. I am definitely not doing that, and definitely seeing their health deteriorating. They don't want that life for themselves in the future. So the manga industry needs to be more analyze, in my opinion, and that's where we can understand what's going on with Eiichiro Oda, the man who made One Piece. Now, this is different from my usual videos. Some people might be bored of this video, me talking about Oda himself, not the actual series, but I thought I had to do it because it's a big deal, guys, and you gotta face reality, guys. Like, Oda's human, guys. I know you guys always say all these jokes and everything, but no, the guy's human, and he definitely is taking a toll on him. The work he's putting in for us, we gotta appreciate it, guys. He's bringing out that One Piece greatness.